I wanted to make sure that I talk to you all and talk to people about how to make this time beneficial for them. Sheltering in place and being at home and not able to go out and have all that free time that you had and distractions that you had, you want to use that time to your benefit. So I just wanted to share some things with you, talk to you about using the time to your benefit, and help you if you need help with doing so. So, in case you don't know who I am, pardon the light in my eyes. I have the lighting on and it's showing in my glasses. So, it's a little distracting for me, so it may be distracting for you. So, I apologize in advance for that, but gotta have the lighting. Um, but I'm LaTasha Nicole, and I am a small business startup strategist. I've been in business since about 2006 myself. 2011, I went into business full time where I did not have a job. I only worked my business, and I did that for quite a bit of time. As of today, I am the founder and executive director of Pearls and Gems Elite, which is a nonprofit organization for young ladies ages 9 to 14 here in Chicago. Pearls and Gems Elite also has a resale store for girls ages 9 to 14, same demographic. Here, it's an online store, as well as we do pop up shops, and everything that is sold in our store benefits our organization. So, the things that you see behind me, these are all items that are available in our online resale store. The name of the store is Finding Gems. So, if you want to check out either of those, it's pearlsandgemselite.org, and the resale store is shopfindinggems.com. I also am a small boutique publishing company. I've helped women and men to publish their first books. I focus on nonfiction books. Usually, what I work with is people who have a story to tell and they want to use their story to educate or inspire others. So, those are the type of people that I work with. To date, I've been working with over 20 authors on the label of Pivot Point, but I have a writing group and I do writing tips and workshops. So I've helped over 100 people to publish their books in the last couple years. So that's a good area for me. And then I also do business startup strategy because I'm really good. God has gifted me with a bunch of ideas, and I'm able to think quickly and creatively. And I help people with creative ways to start their businesses without a whole lot of money. If you've ever worked with me, you know I'm always looking for the free way, the inexpensive way, but it's still going to be a good product and it's still going to look good. So I want to make sure to always share that information with people. So since we're here and we're home, or most of us are home, or we have time on our hands, excuse me, I'm just going to get a little comfortable because we're going to chat. Um, Most of us are home and we have time on our hands. We want to make the most of the time that we have. So, yesterday I jumped on live and I did 5 tips that I want new and growing business owners to consider when they are growing their business, starting your business in the foundational stage of your business. I I suggested that you make sure that you have your business separate from your personal. So you want to make sure you have a dedicated phone line for your business. You want to make sure that you have a dedicated email address for your business. You also want to make sure you have a separate bank account for your business. So you keep your money separate, your business money and your personal money separate. That's really important. Another thing that we talked about was the processes in your business. You want to make sure that you have processes for your business. You also want to make sure that your business has a brand and it has a personality of its own. Probably just by looking around me, you can kind of tell that the personality for my business is pink and flowy and girly and ladylike. Anybody that knows me knows that those are things that are of my personalities, and those are also things that are of my brand personality. So we talked about your branding of your business. But today, what I kind of wanted to touch on is ways that you can use this time, this shelter in place time, to work on your own personal dreams and your own personal goals and your own ideas. And I say that because none of us saw this coming. None of us ever thought that we would be home for days at a time, not really knowing what was going on. So we have to have multiple income streams. We have to have multiple income sources. And so I want to help you to kind of go through your ideas and the things that you've been putting off and help you to start to move those from ideas into money making things. One of the things that I always talk about is my first book. So I wrote my first book in literally 2 days, 48 hours, and it was not something that I had planned to do. I did have the book idea. I had it in the back of my head. I had started working on it, but nothing serious. I had just come up with the concept for the book. I had a cover made and a title and things like that, but that was about it. Maybe wrote about a chapter. One day I logged on to Instagram and there was an author on there that I follow, and she was issuing a challenge. Just a second, let me take a drink. She was issuing a challenge to people to write a book within 24 hours. And she was doing that because she actually needed to get her book done. She had a deadline. And so she was trying to get her a cheerleading team around her and some accountability. And that's very helpful too. When you're trying to launch a business and you're trying to get things done, you need accountability. Cheerleaders are great, but you need accountability. People that are going to keep you focused on your focus. Because we will lose focus, and it's hard if we lose our focus and we get distracted by things. So to have someone just to check in with you, to coach you through, to help you through, to bounce ideas off, that's very helpful. But anyway, she issued a challenge to write a book within 24 hours, and I just so happened to be online when she did it, and I so happened to join that challenge. I didn't finish the book in 24 hours, as I said. That took me 48 hours, but that was, I think, almost 4 or 5 years ago now that I did that. I took 48 hours, and I wrote a book 5 years ago. And from that book 5 years ago, I am still making money. So 48 hours of my time, has been making me money for 5 years. You could do that, right? You can take 2 days or however long it takes to hold up for something that's going to create what we call residual and passive income for you. We need to have things that are making us money that we don't have to be there to do. Because if you have to be there to do it, it limits how much you can do. If you have to make every single thing yourself, that limits how many things you can make. So in addition to your business that requires you to be there and requires you to do it to make money, you also want to figure out some other ways that you can make money for things that are not requiring that you're there to do them. So that's what I'm talking to you about. It's kind of different ways to make money and different ways to use this time to start, grow, launch, expand your new business. So I work with people that have been in business between 0 and 3 years. That's my specialty, even though I do work with people beyond that if they need help. But I'm really, really good in that area of getting you started, getting you going, getting you a good foundation laid. So I do have a consulting company. It's Onyx Small Business Startup Services. And you can go to that website, Onyx Small Business Startup Academy.com, and that'll take you right to my business consulting page. And if you want to schedule a time to talk, we can definitely do that and do some brainstorming. But I'm just going to give you a couple tips here to use this time to your benefit. And if you need expansion, of course, chime in, let me know. But the first thing is that you need to write down your goals, your dreams, and your ideas. So get you a notebook. Keep that notebook with you and use it. I have ideas all day, every day, all the time. I have so many notebooks, and I also have the notes in my phone that I use. But I recommend that you write down your ideas, your goals, your thoughts, things that you want to see happen. Just write them all down as they come to you and keep them in the notebook. They may not all take place now, but it may be something that you can reference back to later. I like to have things that I call the shelf. Ideas that I have to put on the shelf, and I have found myself coming back to those ideas later and using those ideas to build other businesses or to start something new, but with an idea that I had a long time ago. So always write down your goals, your ideas, your thoughts, and your dreams. I want you to do that now, not necessarily right now on this video, but right now in this time. I want you to take some time and write down those business ideas that you've had. You want to start a t-shirt line. You want to open a store. You want to write a book. You want to go back to school, whatever those things are that you've been putting them off, go ahead and write them down on a piece of paper. They always say when you write it down, it becomes real. Write the vision and make it plain. So that's the first thing I want you to do is write down your goals, write down your ideas, write down your thoughts. After you write down those ideas, I want you to pick one of those ideas. Just pick one. Don't be like me and pick a bunch. Pick one idea that you can begin to develop out. So if your idea that you're picking is your t-shirt line, let's pull that t-shirt line off of the idea board. And let's begin to work on that one idea. And let's work on that one idea until we get that idea moving. So let's not do too many things and put our focus in too many places. Let's work on that one idea. Then once you get that one idea, I need you to stop and think about that idea. Think about what it takes to make that idea come from idea in your head to a reality. What do you need to do to make that possible? What things need to happen? And let's not just think about how much money you need to make it happen. Think about what you actually need to make it happen. Do you need materials? Do you need schooling? Do you need a coach? Do you need dye? What types of things will it take? Do you need a website? Do you need to get a social media presence? Do you need to get some friends involved? Do you need to get an email address? Do you need to set up a payment option for it? What types of things will it take to let you start your business at the bare minimum? So if you want to do one thing, what do you need to do to be able to do that one thing? Think about all the things that it requires. And you probably will forget some things you learn as you go. But you want to think about as many things as you can so that you're not skipping steps and have to go back and start all over. I used to be a person that was full steam ahead. I'd go right ahead first and then come back and pick up the pieces later. And that can be costly and it could be time consuming and it could be taking you backwards when you don't have to go backwards. So take a little bit of time at the beginning to formalize and to think and to strategize, and don't move so fast into production. Spend some time in planning. That's important. It's very important. Once you have your list of things that you need to make your business possible, to make your idea into a business or into an income earning opportunity, then you need to prioritize what needs to happen first. What are the things that you need to do to get this done? But I don't want you to get stuck in areas. I don't want you to spend so much time getting a pretty logo or making your website perfect that you are not actually doing the things that are going to make you money. Because again, as I said yesterday, and as I'll continue to say, if you're going into business, you're going into business to make money. If you're not trying to make money and you just love doing what you're doing, that's a hobby and that's cool too. But if you're trying to go into business to make money, you need to be working on ways to make money. You need to be working on ways to make your product or service something that you can sell in exchange for money. And that was another thing that I talked about yesterday that I want to revisit is that you want to make sure that you know who your customers are. Not your friends, not your cousins, not your supporters, because that's what those are called. Those are called supporters, people that will support you and buy from you to help your business get going and spread the word about you. And supporters are great. But in order to sustain a business, you actually need customers, repeat customers, customers who will continue to come back to you and they will pay the price that you design or designate for your services or products. You don't want those people who you have to discount all the time. You want the people that are going to pay your price. You want the people that need or want what you have and they are willing to pay for it. I always use the example of like a Starbucks. Nobody really needs coffee. And nobody really needs $5 coffee either. But we will go to Starbucks and we will get our grande drinks with chocolate and white mocha and all of that. And we will gladly pay Starbucks $5 for it. Whereas there are other places that sell that same type of drink, probably even tastes very similar, for half the price. But we like to go to Starbucks. So Starbucks has found out who their customer is and they don't change it. Things don't go on sale at Starbucks. It's just like Apple and iPhones. I don't think I've ever heard of a sale on an iPhone. But yet I see plenty of people walking around with them. People that are just regular people. They like the Apple products and they figure out a way to pay for it. Apple doesn't discount its services, and neither should you. So you need to find what you're selling, determine what it's worth, how much you need to make from it, and then you need to find the people that can afford and will pay for that service. Those are your customers. I digress. I'm sorry, but I always have to bring that up, especially to women in business and especially to young and new business owners, because we don't know our value, and what we do is we'll undercharge or we'll discount, and we end up giving ourselves headaches. We end up with customers who can't afford what we offer, who are not going to buy from us again, and who are not helping us further along what our business goals are. And your business goals should be your priority, whatever your business goals are. If you have a business and you want to just get a bunch of people to pay you anything that they want to pay you, that's cool, if that's your business model. But if your business model is to make some money and to grow this business to something beyond what it is, beyond this idea that you have today, then you have to be strategic and you have to be firm in what you're looking for, and you have to be willing to stick to your guns. If something doesn't work, which will happen, things won't work, then you have to learn how to revamp the plan, but don't throw the plan out the window, or don't throw the goal out the window just because one portion of the plan didn't work. So after you've prioritized your list of things to do, then you want to start working that list. So you want to figure out what you need to do. So now you know what you need to do. Now you need to know what needs to happen to get it done. So you have your list of whatever your business thing is and whatever your steps that you need to take to make that business a reality. Then you have to do your research and figure out how to start working on it. And one thing I can tell you is, again, try to make your product or service the best that you can make it at the least expensive production costs. So it doesn't have to be cheap products. I don't want it to be poorly crafted, but I want it to be inexpensive to produce, if that makes sense to you. You want your products to be inexpensive to produce. So I was listening to an entrepreneur, and I mentioned this yesterday on live. I was listening to an entrepreneur who has a very popular and thriving business right now. And she said that in her business, she sells products. And in her business, she looks for products that she can create for $1 and sell for $6. So she is making a $5 profit on everything that she does. And that's a good business model. You want to look for stuff that is inexpensive for you to produce, and it can make a good return for you. So with me, most of my businesses are service businesses, so that I sell my brain, essentially. So it's very inexpensive in overhead, and it's all profit for the most part. But everybody won't have service businesses, and some people may have things that they have to buy for their business. And you want to be careful with what you're spending versus what you're bringing in. Most new entrepreneurs, we put out more than we bring in. We're in the negative. And you don't have to operate in the negative. You just have to be what I call not so thirsty to make a sale. As you're out here and you're trying to please your customers and please everybody, and you're selling products and you're selling things, and you haven't even thought about how much it costs you to produce this product and to get it to them. And it looks good and it sounds good that people are buying it, but at the end of the day, if you're not making any money and you're worrying yourself and wearing yourself thin, you're not going to do it for too long. So you want to definitely consider, how do you make the best product that you can at an affordable price for you, and something that you can sell for at least twice what it cost you to make it. And generally, twice is probably being very gracious, because we always undercharge. Especially new people in business, we always undercharge for our services. So do some research. Look at what your competition is charging and see, what they're charging, what the market holds, and what people will pay for that. And figure out ways that you can make that product better or make it your own. And then the last thing that I want you to do, after you've already wrote down your goals and your dreams and your ideas, you picked one that you're going to work on, You made yourself a to-do list of things that you need to do. Then you prioritize that to-do list. And then you make your checklist and you start to get going and checking stuff off your list. Then it's time to work the plan. You got to work the plan. It will not work if you do not work it. And I share with you that right now, while we're all sheltered in place and we're all dealing with this pandemic and coronavirus, and it's just spreading and they're trying to get a hold on it, this is a great time to spend time working on you and your business and your goals and ideas. And I can say that with certainty because last year here in Chicago, we had a polar vortex and we were all trapped in the house for about maybe 3 to 4 days, maybe 3 to 4 days, maybe a little bit longer, but it wasn't anywhere near as long as this. And during that time when I was home is when I came up with the idea for Pearls and Gems Elite, which is the name of the business that you see behind me, as well as Pivot Point Publishing. Pivot Point Publishing, like I said, had already been around for a couple years from my first book, but last year I came up with an idea to actually take it a little further, and I recruited other authors. I had an idea for a book of letters that I wanted to write to women that were younger than me from my perspective to help them out, and I dreamed that up, and I dreamed up PGE up during the polar vortex. So within a span of about 5 days, I came up with 2 business ideas, and I spent that time at home working on it. That was I think it was in January of last year. By February of last year, both of those businesses were up and running. And I had the minimum. I won't say that they were fully functioning, but I had the minimum. I had the ideas, I had the blueprint. So that's what you want to spend this time on, is working your blueprint, getting your blueprint down so that you can begin to grow and expand the ideas. So in January, I came up with the ideas for two businesses because, like I said, I come up with a lot of ideas. I'm quick with that. So I don't recommend people doing 2 businesses at a time unless you can handle that, because it's kind of hard to perfect 2 things at once. But if you can, go ahead. But if not, pick your one. So I came up with the idea in January for the 2 businesses and organizations. By February, I had begun to formalize those businesses. I had begun to tell people about it. I had begun to talk to my supporting circle about it. And then by March, PGE was actually live. We were meeting with the girls. We're a girls mentoring and self-empowerment program. And by March, we had meetings. We were having meetings. So the idea came to me in January. By March, we were live. So I took that time in January that we were home during the polar vortex to come up with how to make this happen. And in 2 months' time, it went from an idea to an actual organization. The book, Sis Stand on My Shoulders, was something that again came to me in January of last year. And this required a little more planning because I was looking for 20 people to join me in this. And I started the concept in January. I just went to Facebook and I started to tell people about it on Facebook, that this is something that I wanted to do. Was there anyone that was interested in doing so with me? And I set a goal. I set a goal to have 20 women to join me, 20 to 25, I think it was, to join me in this project. And I started to talk to people about it. I started to talk to my friends. I started to talk to people that I thought would be good people to be a part of the book. And it kind of grew legs and grew on its own. I believe we had our first call for Sis Stand on My Shoulders probably in late January or early February of last year. By last September, Sis Stand on My Shoulders was a full book. It was complete and it was out, and I was making money and the other authors that were a part of the book were making money. So I said that to say that you can take this time, this downtime, where especially if you have a business that you cannot service your customers, or you have a job where you're not able to work from home, or you're not able to go into work, you want to take this time and really figure out how to make your dreams grow. You need to figure out what pieces of the puzzle have been missing, what you do not have time for or have not had time for that you now have time for, and recruit the resources and the help that you need. That could be a strategist like myself. That could be an accountability partner who is a friend of yours who has a similar idea or who has an idea and you guys can work together. I have a mastermind group which is called Business Besties, and I also have my own personal business bestie, which is in my mastermind group. We strategize. I am the leader because I've been doing this for a lot longer than the members of the group. And they come to me and we brainstorm and we problem solve. And then they can help each other problem solve in the group. And you want to make sure that you can get somebody or some group of people around you that you can bounce ideas off of. Somebody that knows something that you do not know. Somebody that has access to resources that you do not have. And they can help you to get where you need to be. And they can help you from making those costly mistakes. Some of those mistakes that you've probably already made or that you will make because of things that you do not know. I've also worked with people who already are in business, but they skipped over some steps and now they're backtracking. So I want you to take your time now to try to avoid having to backtrack, to try to think things through. So I want to challenge you to get an accountability partner or get you a business bestie. My business bestie and I, we're on the phone almost every day, bouncing ideas off each other, strategizing on things, talking it through, because when something is your idea and it's personal to you, it's just like your baby. It's just like you think you know everything about it and you're so close to it that you can't see the holes in it. And somebody else can look at it and they can see the holes in it. And that's useful. That's useful because that way you can stop for a minute, you can pause, and you can think about how to prevent a future problem from happening. Think about right now. How many people, how many organizations were prepared for their employees to have to leave work one day and don't know when they're coming back? Had to pivot and to be able to have their employees work from home. Some companies were not prepared for that at all. And some companies, there was no ways that they could prepare. But there were some that could prepare but did not prepare. And of course, a pandemic, we probably never thought we'd see it coming. But you need to have a backup plan in place. So if you can think about your strategy, think about your plan ahead of time. Think about what's required. Think about the what ifs. Don't get stuck on the what ifs though, but think about the what ifs so you can put a plan in place. Think about the options. Let's just say you want to start a business and it might cost you, I don't know, let's just say $5,000 to get started. Is there any way that you could start a smaller version of that business for less than $5,000? Is there any way that you can start a smaller business to support that business to get you to the $5,000? Say you want to open a store. And to open a store, you're going to have to require space, retail space. You're going to have to require product. You're going to have to get packaging and things that you need just to run a store. You need a sales machine. You need a system like Square or PayPal or something like that. You're going to need somebody to work in your store. You're going to need the space. You're going to need all of the furnishings. And all of that's going to cost money. So if you don't have that money, what can you do on a smaller scale to start building momentum for your business? To start telling people that you're coming and to start operating your business in a smaller capacity. Is there something that you can do? I'll give you a hint. I'm actually doing it right now. Finding gems, all these things that you see behind me, they're set up in my home office. And these are all things that are available in Finding Gems, the store. So instead of getting a space in a store where we had to pay monthly rent before we were able to start making a good amount of money in the business, we decided to operate on a pop-up basis, which means that we will pop up at different places monthly and pay a small fee to have us there for a month. And then we also house an online store. This way, we're not putting out more money than we're bringing in. Or we're not putting out a whole bunch more money than we're bringing in. Because you may have to put out money anyway just to make things happen, because it takes money to make money for the most part. But you don't want to go in upside down. So if you can avoid taking out a loan or getting a rent payment that's $500, $600, $700 a month, or even in the thousands, because some people do businesses in the thousands a month for retail space, figure out what you can do. Can you share space with somebody? My very first boutique, I had a boutique and I had it in the front of my hair salon where I got my hair done at regularly. So I didn't go and get a whole retail space. I actually asked my hairstylist, hey, would you be willing to let me rent this little corner of your beauty shop so that I can put my store in here? And it made sense because it was a hair salon. It already had clients coming in and out, and my stuff was at the front of the hair salon, so people had to walk past it. So, you got to get creative. with ways to operate your business and to launch your business. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I just wanted to plant that seed. Make sure to check out my live from yesterday. It's also available on YouTube, and I'm going to put this one up on YouTube so you can see it as well and share it. But I want you to take the time right now where we're in limbo and you probably have a lot more free time than you've had before because you can't go anywhere or do anything. Take that time to work on your business, to work on your ideas, to work on your goals, and to actually put a plan into place and set some dates. Set some deadlines. Goals are not just, I want to open a store. You need to be specific. I want to open a store by this date. This is what I want to sell in my store. This is what I need to make this happen. This is how much I will sell the items in my store for. You need to set some goals at like 30-day goals, 60-day goals, 90-day goals, and start writing them down. If I wasn't on my laptop, I would show you all the other side of my office where I have huge pieces of white paper, like that really big Post-it note paper with goals and dates and strategies and checklists, because I need to see what I'm working on. And that way it just feels good. There's something that feels really good about checking something off on a checklist. So I want you to start doing that. You can visit me. Like I said, I offer a free 25-minute Q&A session where we can kind of talk about what your idea is, and I can help you to maybe come up with something simpler or come up with some different ways to be able to launch that idea, or just get you brainstorming, get you going. Maybe you're stuck on a certain point. So I invite you to visit onyxsmallbusinessstartupacademy.com, and you can book, there's an option there to book a consultation. You can just book a 25-minute free consultation and we can talk. Or if you feel like you need something bigger, there's some other options there for you. But if you want to just test the waters and see how I can help you, or if I can help you, you can definitely book a free session. If you have a question, you can drop it in my inbox or drop it on this video on the page. My goal for you is that you begin to create multiple sources of income for yourself, and that you create some passive and some residual income. If you need help with the book, I'm your girl. I can help you with writing the book. I can coach you through it. I am a ghostwriter. I ghostwrite for clients. We have a full service publishing company. So we have editing, we have graphic design, everything that you would need from beginning to end to get your book published. So that's at pivotpointpublishingllc.com. So I hope that you got some good information here. I hope that I inspired you to spend this time being productive and stay out the kitchen and stop snacking like I was doing and make some things happen. So I'm going to try and do these videos maybe once a day, every couple days, just to jump on. If there's something you want me to talk about, send me a message, and then I can do a whole live just for you and your topic, because chances are, if you have an issue or you have a question or you have a concern, someone else has it too, and we can talk about it. So again, I'm LaTasha Nicole, and I am your small business startup strategist, and I can help you with starting your business. I can help you with writing your book. If you need some help, make sure to reach out to me. Again, it's Onyx Small Business Startup Services. Onyx Small Business Startup Academy.com. Visit the website or drop me an inbox. Hope that helps. Get started on your business, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.